The elusive chanteuse. You like
Chanteuse, darling.
do you like to think of yourself as a chanteuse? A club
Honestly,
singer?
I'm just so sick of the word diva that I thought it was something fun to just, you know, shift things around. We went back and forth whether we were going to use elusive or another adjective, and I just ended up saying, why not? For laughs.
And you hear people often say that, like a fan of yours will come up to you on the street, they'll say, Mariah, your music is the soundtrack of my life. What does that mean to you?
It's interesting because, of course, that's the highest compliment somebody can give to another, especially when you're talking about a songwriter. Most people, a lot of people don't know that I write my songs, but because I've written all these songs, it makes me feel, obviously, it's a huge compliment. And the thing is, it's the soundtrack to my life as well.
Do you ever get bugged by the fact that a lot of people think you just sing the songs?
I do. It's very irritating.
Well, I'm glad I could bring that up.
No,
then.
you know, but thank you.
Yeah.
No, you know what it is? My life would be much easier if all I did was come in and sing the songs and leave, but that's not who I am.
You are involved in every single facet of putting a song and a record together.
Yeah.
I've said this to other creative people. Are you a bit of a control freak? And I don't mean that in a negative way.
I know. I say it. I mean, I say that I am. And it's not because I feel like I need to have the credit, because a lot of times I'm involved in things that, be it a video or anything that, you know, goes with the process of making a record and releasing it to the public.
It's not credit, it's your name is on it.
Right, but and it's just more back in the day than now, although it's just one of those things where I felt like if I write Mariah Carey, it looks like a vanity. It looks like something that I'm doing just to take the credit, and that's not what it is. I would never not take songwriting credit. That's what I do. I don't like it when people are like, oh, I got a great song for you. I'm like, do you realize that I write my own songs? You're irking me. I am irked. Sorry, that's from a movie. All I do is watch animation with the babies now. That's all we do. And it's fun. It is.
This idea of a chanteuse is a club singer. I mean, it's a woman who gets to the clubs and she kind of lights up for the audience. Is that how you see yourself?
Well, I think when I first started singing, I started singing when I started talking. And my mom was an opera singer, but also sings jazz and all different types of music. And so I would sit in with her and her friends or different musicians at bars or whatever. And it's sort of like, it's about, you know, a singer that's really a torch singer in a way.
I see it as smoky and sultry and intimate.
Yeah.
I think that's what the word means to me.
Yeah.
And talented.
Well, I guess that's what the word means. You know what? I guess because it's of French origin, we don't really know the exact.
Americans most Americans can't even pronounce it.
Right, exactly. And then they were like, most of the people that I said that the word to didn't know what it was, but they did like it, and they liked the sound of it.
See, so already we know one great thing to come of the new album is you're teaching people vocabulary.
Well,
so
why
then you're
not?
expanding vocabulary. Every time a song comes out or every time an album
People
comes
expect
out,
it to be
they
number one.
expect it. It's a Mariah Carey song.
Right.
She's the hit maker. And this better be another one. And how do you deal with that pressure?
Well, I feel like the pressure of that and the ups and downs, like I feel much more empowered now than I did back in the day, because I feel like I was always insecure as a child. I didn't have like the world's easiest upbringing. Your life may not look like it was difficult, but you may have had your own insecurities that you don't talk about, but that doesn't mean that they didn't occur. And so...
Where did yours come from?
Mine came from a lot of different places that we so don't have time to talk about.
Well,
we could get into
what's
them.
the most obvious one? I mean, I've read a lot about you, and I know you've talked about the fact that being a biracial child was with you at every turn, and it was a part of every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Let me show you what we dug up here. So...
Dug that up.
That was done at 3, right?
That was 3.5, around 3.5, yeah. But it's the last time I ever drew myself as a whole person.
Yeah, you tweeted about it, and I want to read what you wrote. Please don't judge me for such a simplistic title. Come on, I was only 3.5. It was a creative visualization of how I saw myself with the purity of a child's heart before it was ever broken.
Yeah, it was broken pretty early on. I mean, and I tried to shy away from the woe is me moments. And I only say that because I've had this picture for so long, and my mom did save that for me. And like I said, it's the last time I ever drew myself as a whole person. Like after that, I started drawing. Well, there was an incident that occurred after this where I was in nursery school. Because I am from a biracial family, I guess the assignment, if you have assignments in nursery school, was to draw a picture of your family. And so it was a colorful picture, and my dad was colored with the brown crayon, and the kids were sort of in between, and my mom was with the white crayon. And this is also probably people who weren't thinking about it that deeply, but it scarred me for life in terms of they said, "Oh, sweetie, you picked up the wrong crayon." And I said, "No, that's the right color," as though I had picked up a crayon that was green. And after they laughed, they sort of walked away to the other side of the room and started whispering, and then they never treated me the same way again. And so from that point on, I realized that I was different, and I didn't feel like I was worthy. And so I feel like in a lot of ways, I've always been apologizing for being me.
You want people to listen to this album through.
Yes.
This is not something you want them to go play one song, jump in the car, go do grocery shopping, go back, listen to another. You'd like them to sit. You want their undivided attention. When I did it that way, I found myself trying to read between all the lines. Okay, what is she talking about there? Is she referring to this? Does that line mean?
So you were listening to the words more than the music?
Both. I was listening to both. Is that what you want when someone's listening to your music? Do you want them to analyze every word? Or are some songs just for fun?
Some songs are just for fun, and it's not that I want people to analyze things. I like to leave things open so people can, if they're going through a similar experience in their life to what I'm talking about on a particular song, then they're able to really relate to it and maybe be healed by it, through it, whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? It's sort of the approach I've always taken when making music, which is like some songs are extremely personal, and every single word is part of a story.
Let's play a little word association with some of the titles of the tracks on this album, okay?
Okay.
So I'll throw the title out to you, and just give me what comes to your mind. Cry.
I guess because those were the background parts, the cry, like that was the part that was consistent, and it was just sort of like a retrospective on maybe this is why this relationship didn't end up working, you know, and it says, you know, I just need you till we both break down and cry. And it wasn't about a woe is me, I'm crying. It was about I need us to have this moment together to mutually just have an emotional release.
Beautiful. I don't mean the description, I mean the next song. Beautiful.
Was it bad? Is it not a good description?
I liked it. No, I loved it. I really did.
Oh, okay.
You see, but I don't know if it's good or bad because it's so personal to you.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
your
why
description.
I tried to, well, it's my description, but if somebody else heard it, it might remind them of like something that happened with someone in their family or
That's
something.
what all good
yeah.
songs should do.
That's what
They
well,
should
I
evoke
feel that way.
something in me.
Exactly.
Do you ever go into a studio with everything down on paper when you get there and you play it through, and the first or second time you think, that's it? No need to tinker with it.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty basic thing where you can sing into your phone and you can keep it and number it, and so that makes my life a lot easier than when I used to be like, why can't I have the stupid little tape recorder? Why can't anybody just buy these for me? And I would lose ideas that I wanted to keep and remember because I'm not a piano player.
Do you ever just get a phrase in your head and start humming and then singing it?
Absolutely.
And grab your phone and just record it?
Oh, yes. Like so, almost, I mean, there are times when I'll grab my phone just because I feel like, oh, I'm in good voice. I want to record this right now.
Let me bring the next word association song title up, Supernatural.
Supernatural,
And if you don't mention
yeah.
the kids right off the bat, you're in big trouble.
No, that song is all about them babies. And really, I mean, the Our Love is Supernatural was just something that came to my mind because it was really like our love is supernatural, meaning like nothing I've ever experienced before. But yeah, I mean, getting to record Monroe, she's the one who's laughing and who starts us singing, row, row, bee, go.
How did you record them? I mean, it's such a cute little interlude with them in the song.
Yeah.
So how did it come about?
I went to the session with some instruments in mind. I wanted to hear kind of a harp and a sitar and that feeling that was kind of giving us an earthy feeling, like a very kind of 70s-ish feeling. Like there's a couple of songs that remind me just musically and melodically of that song. So we first started working on that, and I said I want to write something for the babies, and we just started writing.
The minute they were born, did it change you?
I mean, it changed me before they were born. Honestly, I went through a really rough pregnancy, and I didn't talk about it that much. It wasn't a woe is me festival. I think I probably talked about it a lot at home.
Yeah.
Complaining and everything.
Little whining?
I mean, I think it was warranted.
When it comes to kids, though, a lot of people who are famous, you get in a situation like this, they say, I don't want to talk about my kids. Mm-hmm. You've never shied away from that. You seem proud of them, mm-hmm. and not unwilling to tell people who they are and even show them. Why?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think we see all of the children of famous people in the world today because somebody's always there with a camera. They don't have to have a huge, giant lens. They can have a phone, and there's the picture that's all over the world. We set up a site called Them Babies, which is for the Fresh Air Fund, and we gave the pictures to that site. So, and because I have Camp Mariah, but it was all for charity, and I felt like if I had to talk to them about it when they grew up, it'd be like, look, this is what it is. Everybody sees the children of famous people. Wouldn't you rather that it happened this way? Helped people, and also that we could at least make sure they were pictures that were cute and, you know.
You get to edit, which is nice.
Yes,
You get a little
like
photo
that.
approval.
Exactly. You know, I try my best, but you know what? You can never know what the babies are going to say when they grow up. Like, why did you let people see me in I didn't like that dress, you know? So I just hope that they know how hard I tried, because I know that I asked for this life. Like, we asked for this life and prayed to do this for a living, people who do this, and they were born into it. And so I really try to keep that in mind.
Has being a mom changed your perspective on your career?
Definitely. I would say 100%.
Are you as driven?
I'm definitely as driven, but it's really hard. You know, it's a totally different world, but it's something that I wouldn't trade for anything. Seeing this in Times Square, that moment, it was overwhelming.
Where are you in life now, Mariah? Where are you? I mean, you know, describe the place you inhabit right now, emotionally.
Look, I've always been a pretty vulnerable person, but I've learned how to build up a wall. So when I have to, I can put up that wall and leave it there and walk in the other direction. And that's what I have to do sometimes with people in my life when they just don't get it, that I'm a person just like them. And I don't know why. Other artists and I have had this conversation, and, you know, some of them feel, you know, we have a similar outlook on that. It's just like, it's really difficult. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, you know, it's one of those things, but I've always felt like even the acupuncturist who's been helping me with my hand is like, I'm like, why does this hurt so much more? And he's like, you're tense. It's like, you see how tense you are?
You walk through life tense, you think?
I think that I went through a moment when I was really free and I wasn't tense at all. And then certain things provoke tension. And, you know, it's like having to do a lot of work on your own will provoke tension, but it's also something that I want to do. So it's like, you ask for it, you got it, to handle it.
You said, you know, we've asked for this life. You know, we wanted to do this.
Yes.
We're doing what we dreamed of doing.
Yes.
Comes with a lot of price.
Mm-hmm.
Tabloids take shot at you and Nick and your relationship. How do you deal with it?
I don't read tabloids, certainly not anymore. I mean, like, you read them one day, they're wrapping fish with them the next, is what a very brilliant writer told me once.
Can you shrug it off that easily?
You gotta shake it off.
Yeah. Are you in a good place, though?
I'd say I'm in a good place.
Happy?
I mean, you know what? I'm like anybody else, like I'm sure you are. Certain days you're happy, and certain days you're more stressed. And it is what it is. I mean, like, life gives you different things, different obstacles, and you can overcome them, or you can wallow within them. I'd rather try to overcome them.